My fiancé was secretly keeping a college boy, claiming it was financial support, watching their lovey-dovey act. I let out a few cold laughs. I then turned around and sponsored the boy's childhood sweetheart. Later, my fiancé knelt, begging me to take her back. I merely gave an amused smile. Your entire family relies on the Bai family. You have no right to make demands. Then I took back everything that wasn't hers. Chapter 1. My assistant's efficiency has always been top-notch the moment I notice something amiss. They placed a complete dossier on my desk. The guy's handsome. No wonder Shin Wei was smitten. The girl next to him is pretty too. Bring this girl to me. I'll sponsor her as well. Soon the girl appeared before me, Su Waning beautiful. Even without makeup, her photos would be good enough for the entertainment industry. Just those expressive eyes are enough to charm any man and make any woman jealous. But her current situation wasn't good. She looked exhausted and haggard. I understood. I knew what kind of trouble she was facing. Su Waching's parents were deceased, her family poor. She only had her grandmother, who had just been diagnosed with terminal lung cancer and was lying in the hospital, excellent in both academics and conduct. Since childhood, she worked part-time to support her family and entered Jinan University with outstanding grades. Everyone who knew her praised her beauty, kindness, and intelligence. She was the perfect child of someone else's family. The college boy was named Xiao Sheng, her neighbor, and something of a childhood friend men. Their possessiveness is hard to hide. I could see he liked Su Waning. No wonder Shinu was so furious. Chapter 2. Shinu is usually a calm and calculating person. I've never seen her lose her composure. But recently her expressions have frequently betrayed her inner thoughts, and her emotional control has been poor. Yesterday, before I even entered her office, I heard her on the phone. Her voice was indifferent, as she'd admonished, almost warning. Xia Shang, you know my position. If you don't want trouble, keep your distance from your classmates. There are some things I don't like. Her usually calm voice was laced with burning jealousy. My hand raised a knock paused. I had intended to invite her to dinner. But now I'd lost interest. Her attitude towards me has become perfunctory over the years. Superficial. She still cares about me, but the pretense is obvious. A purely professional demeanor, with no real interest in what I do. But she's always been like this with everyone. So I didn't pay much attention until the news of her sponsoring a university student reached my ears. Shinu isn't a compassionate person, selfish even yet. She bought him a luxurious villa, took him on trips, and even prepared to send him abroad for studies, sparing no expense. Now it seems she's quite jealous. Everyone jokes that she's fallen in love when I found out I was unhappy, wanting to completely sever ties with Shinu. After all, I've been clinging to this for years. It's time to let go. My assistant frowned at me. Young master about mission sponsoring that student. He was originally my father's assistant, but due to his age, he didn't want to worry too much, so he volunteered to become mine. He's more like an elder than an assistant, loyal and capable. His expression was calm, but I knew he was offering to take care of the matter for me. I waved my hand dismissively, interrupting him. Let's go. There's no need. We're all civilized. People, no need for a messy scene. I'm too lazy to expose her. She deliberately hid it from me. What good would finding the truth do? Throw the evidence at her and force a confession of infidelity, or try to salvage things? I know the outcome if I take action. She will definitely apologize to me. The Bai family is a towering tree, but the young master of the Bai family is a who can't stand. Plenty of people have their eyes on me, to put it bluntly, even if I remain impotent for life. There are countless women eager to marry me, because I can bring them endless benefits. I'm the marriage partner their families crave. Even if they're unwilling, they will do everything to maintain this relationship, like in the past when I would have mood swings and lash out at Shinu Wei. She would remain gentle, unmoved by my insults. Then, after my anger subsided, she would offer an expensive gift, admitting it was her fault. Those gifts were chosen by her assistant. Sometimes a watch, sometimes a tie. Never cheap, but never truly thoughtful. Usually I wouldn't stay angry at her for long. Everyone says I'm deeply in love with Shinu. I never denied it because I used to believe it myself. Now, the thought of Shinu possibly being tainted makes me sick, disgusted. I've never felt this way before. My reflection in the corridor glass was calm. I stared at myself for a moment, seeing that I remained silent. My assistant pushed my wheelchair and took me away. Chapter 3. 3 years ago, I was in a car accident, and now I rely on a wheelchair. I'm not paralyzed, but my legs can't support me for long periods. I'm still in recovery when she saw me in the wheelchair. Sue Waning didn't avert her gaze like others full of covert pity and disdain. She merely glanced. At my legs, before lowering her head, her expression obedient, my assistant informed her of my offer to support her with generous terms, as long as she met my requirements. Her grandmother's medical expenses wouldn't be a problem. Everything had a price tag. She was smart enough to know there's no such thing as a free lunch. My assistant, always efficient, simply smiled at her apprehension. These are my employer wishes. Discuss the details yourselves. I remained silent, although I knew my assistant meant well. I preferred such arrangements weren't so blatant. I was confident Sue Waning wouldn't refuse. She was desperate while Shinu wouldn't target her directly. A single look was enough for her scion to act, for example, ruining Sue Waning hard. One job leaving her with no options. For example, ensuring her grandmother's treatment was delayed, leaving her facing insurmountable medical bills and tears. They might even spread rumors about her being kept by someone scaring off any potential. Suitor Swanning was cornered with no room to refuse. She didn't even know what she had done wrong or who to plead with. Regarding this charitable offer, she neither refused nor agreed. Only after my assistant left, and we were alone in the office, did Sue Waning look up at me, her eyes clear. "Mr. Bai, what do I need to do?" My leg was uncomfortable, and I shifted, grunting after a moment. She was perceptive, noticing my discomfort, and after a hesitation poured me a glass of water. Her fingers were beautiful, like works of art. I studied her bathed in sunlight. Sue Waning resembled a flower bud about to bloom. I was satisfied she was beautiful, even more so than Shin. As for what she needed to do, I hadn't fully decided yet. Chapter 4. By family's influence is vast. Anything Shinu thought she'd hidden, well, a snap of my fingers would reveal. It's just that I never paid attention before. Didn't want to. My world used to revolve around Esha Yue. I spoiled her as long as she stayed by my side and kept me happy. But this time is different. Suddenly, I'm no longer interested in her. I feel distant. A tainted woman isn't fit to be the young mistress of the Bai family. The young mistress can be a Voss, but she must be obedient behind my back. She wants to play a nurturing game, does she think? Because I'm crippled, she can find some sunny boy to do on her, and it seems she's quite enjoying it. Fine, I'll see how fun this game is. Nert game? I said, looking seriously at Sue, Waning slowly explaining, I want to try it. I'll give you resources and see how far you can grow. Swanning froze. She understood. The meaning? But not entirely. A bewildered expression on her face, chuckling softly. I put it more bluntly from now on. I'll take care of you whether you become a kept woman or something else is up to you. She has no other options now being my kept. Woman might be a good choice. Suwanen was silent, then her cheeks flushed a little. Embarrassed, a little awkward, unsure what to say. I knew my words were too blunt, too frivolous. But so what for a woman, especially a virtuous one? It must feel humiliating. Perhaps it was the pressure of life, but as she looked at me, her eyes were still clear. Only now, with a hint of resignation, the initial aloofness gone, she gently crouched in front of me, carefully readjusting the blanket that had slipped, tucking it around my legs. This reaction honestly exceeded my expectations, Mr. Bye. She hesitated, her head lowered. Will you tell anyone about this chapter? 5. Honestly, it took me a while to understand what she meant. I initially thought she was worried about others finding out. But the truth made me laugh. She was afraid that the Bai family status was too high and would cause trouble for me. That's why she felt I needed to inform my parents. I laughed, feeling happy this girl isn't interesting, clearly. She's the one who could get hurt. Yet, she wasn't thinking about herself, nor was she afraid of me. She even thoughtfully considered things from my perspective. Is she getting in a character this quickly? I've seen the way Xiao Shan looks at Xinu: adoration, respect, and even a bit of flattery. Their relationship is a typical gold digger scenario, and Xinu is quite proud of it. But Su Weining looks at me like I'm a disobedient little brother, even though I'm much older than her is. She mocking my current inability. I got angry and unconsciously pushed her to the ground. It wasn't hard, but I almost felt myself. Since the accident, I've been prone to these outbursts every time Xin just lowers her head and stays silent until my anger subsides. Others avoid me altogether. But Su Weining didn't flinch. She just looked at me with that same gentle expression. She didn't even check if she was hurt or care that her white dress was stained by the dirt on the floor. I froze for a few seconds. This feeling was strange. I'm the one keeping you. I can make my own decisions, remember. You need to be obedient and available whenever I call. She remained silent, not asking any questions or making any demands. She gently stood up and steadied my wheelchair. Okay, I understand. She looked directly into my eyes. I felt like she was pitying me, but I couldn't prove it. After she left, I called my assistant, have the studio make some clothes for her, and send them over in my name. I regained my composure, my gaze fixed on the blanket she had carefully placed over me. The Bai Group owns a dedicated fashion design studio. The designs come from Paris and are highly sought after by Zhong Chang's elite, especially the top-tier custom pieces which have a waiting list. My assistant instinctively asked for mission. What my mind hadn't caught up, still thinking about Su Weining's soiled dress. Why'n't that girl dodge? Even Xinu wouldn't just stand there and take it. My assistant looked at me knowingly and smoothly, corrected his earlier mistake, understood for Miss Su. Chapter 6. Now I understand the fun of raising sim games, and gradually understand Xinu's joy. When I met Su Weining, she had clearly made preparations. She wore her best clothes very clean, but visibly worn out. Her shoes were the same. Her entire outfit wouldn't cost more than 300 yuan. She wore the clothes I gave her. She ate very little, obviously. Trying to save money and hadn't touched the money I gave her. I couldn't stand it, so I had the housekeeper prepare meals and send them to her in just a month. The little girl was no longer gaunt and thin and looked a bit more filled out. That's right, slightly chubby girls are prettier. Those skinny as bamboo poles are bony to the touch. Besides schoolwork, she looked after her grandmother every day and also worked part-time. It was hard work, so I arranged a private ward and hired a dedicated caregiver. Su Weining didn't refuse any of this and thanked me sincerely. She recorded every expense in her little notebook. Mr. Bai, I will pay you back. I didn't say yes or no to this. I don't want money since this is supporting you. It also concerns my reputation. The Bu family doesn't support freeloaders. I hope you can achieve something. Tell me if you need anything. She was stunned, seemingly not expecting this request, but still calmly nodded. Okay, I understand. Then she carefully looked at me, asking what I liked. It seemed like she wanted to prepare a gift for me. There was really no need. What could she afford? One pair of my shoes costs more than she earns in a year of part-time work. But looking at those pure eyes, my heart softened. She was already a natural beauty and now dressed up by me. She was even more beautiful. This is probably the fun of raising sim games. No wonder Xinu liked it. It truly was joyful in the end, and I couldn't bear to refuse the little girl's kindness, flowers and plants, but I don't have time to care for them, so you'll have to manage them. Su Weining nodded and actually smiled. Not the faint kind, but a truly happy smile. Then she really gave me a small succulent. It wasn't expensive, but it was clearly carefully tended. She really was different from Xinu. I often gave Shinu gifts, and she would only thank me with a fake smile. Then she'd reciprocate with a perfunctory gift, very formulated. I didn't care before because it had always been like that, but now I know that the difference between a heartfelt gift and a profund one is very obvious. It has nothing to do with value, but it truly makes me happy. So the recipient of my gift changed from Shinu to Sue Waning. She gave me more and more flowers and plants, so I even had someone build a greenhouse. When she's free, she'll be in there, tending to them very diligently. Chapter 7. It wasn't until Shinu contacted me that I remembered I hadn't thought about her in a long time. I had initially intended to play a game of cat and mouse, but swanning was too captivating, causing me to completely forget about it. I'd even forgotten she was my fiancée, forgotten that I still had a score to settle with her. However, I kept Sue Waning a secret. Just as Shinu had kept Xiao Song a secret for me, I felt it was fair. The only difference was she couldn't keep her secret, but I could. Shinu only knew that someone powerful was protecting Ying Su. Waning, those who tried to curry favor with her were rebuffed and could only avoid the girl with a mysterious reverence she was anxious wanting. To know who it was when I saw her, I felt a moment of disorientation. Then I became different, even a little disdainful. It seemed that after letting go, she was just there. She was indeed beautiful, but not as beautiful as Sue Waning. Nor was she as patient with me as Sue Waning. She looked at me ingratiatingly. Sigh, and there's been a lot going on at the company recently I've been neglecting. You don't be upset. I've made a restaurant reservation. Let's have a nice dinner tonight. I had already made plans with Sue watching. Tonight the little thing said she learned a few new dishes and wanted to cook them for me. I had agreed. Just as I was about to refuse, Shin changed the subject. By the way, there's a contract recently. Could you get by Corp to sign it with me? The company's performance hasn't been very good lately and want to boost my numbers. That was the Shinu way. I knew every contribution must have a return. But that was in the past. Corp hadn't given her any preferential treatment for a long time. These matters were handled by my assistant. I didn't need to worry about them. I gave her a strange look. Go talk to my older brother about it. You know, he's always been the one managing the family business. I wanted to laugh. Go ahead and try. Corp, as current anger had nowhere to go. The only reason they hadn't acted was because of my ambiguous attitude, and I in turn wanted to use this opportunity to let the little thing practice her skills without my intervention. Corp wouldn't touch the Shin family. Shinu fell silent. She probably hadn't expected me to say that. A hint of impatience flickered in her eyes. San, don't be ridiculous. I'm doing this for our future. You don't want people to say the young mistress of the Bai family is useless, do you? Yes. It probably spoiled her too much to the point where she couldn't recognize her own uselessness. I watched her with amusement. My older brother is currently abroad and very busy. I'll discuss it with him when he returns. It was only then that she seemed to realize something was off with me. She looked at me, hesitating after a few seconds. She adopted a gentle tone. San, are you angry because I haven't been taking care of you lately? I looked her up and down with a half smile. The more I looked, the more I felt that age was a killer for women. Youth was truly precious. Shinu Wei's phone bust. She panicked, wanting to avoid my gaze, but didn't dare. She lowered her head and quickly glanced at the message on her phone. It was from Xiao Shong, wasn't it? I wasn't interested in peeking, but we were too close. It was a photo with a caption, Sister. We went to the venture capital firm for an internship today. We can gain a lot of experience which will be helpful to you in the future. The girl in the corner of the photo was familiar. It was Sue Waning. Sue Waning had told me about the internship. I had even helped her arrange it at Corp Investment firm. Seeing her wearing the clothes I had given her, so obedient, it put me in a good mood. Shinu froze. After just one glance, she no longer tried to hide it from me, enlarging the photo to examine it carefully. Finally, her gaze settled on Sue Watching's outfit. It was by Corp as private label. She had worn it for so many years, she wouldn't mistake it. Chapter 8. The air thickened and several minutes passed. I was growing impatient when Shinu finally looked at me. A young lady raised in high society. How could she be a fool? The recent coldness, the mysterious backer behind Sue waning everyone's fearful attitude, and the probing gazes Shinu Wei wasn't oblivious to them. But she had been inexplicably confident now seeing Sue waning wearing H. couture. She previously couldn't afford her composure, finally cracked San. You gave these to her, right? What's your relationship with her? Shinu's eyes were red. She understood clearly what all this meant, and her words carried a hint of interrogation. The assistant frowned, wanted to step forward, but I stopped him. Why use a sledgehammer to crack a nut? I poured the water in my hand directly onto her head. She didn't dare to dodge, looking utterly pathetic. Taking the tissue offered by the assistant, I casually wiped my hands. What do you think you are? Have you forgotten your place? Who allowed you to speak to me like this? Shin Wei froze. She didn't expect my reaction to be so strong. I casually played with the beads in my hand. They were Sue watchings. Very cheap. She gave them to me because I liked them. Shin Wei, listen. I haven't even settled a matter with you and that college student, so stay out of my business. She panicked as if her secret had been exposed. The anger on her face replaced by anxiety. San, you know I didn't tell you about supporting Xiaoshong because I was afraid you'd overthink it. I gave a LTO. Are you done? If you are, you can lead. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down, and squeezed out what she thought was a gentle smile. Xiaoshong is just a kid, a good student. I just wanted to cultivate some new talent for the Shun family. I'm your fiancé. I'll be wholeheartedly devoted to you, and I'll be faithful to our marriage. You have to trust me. I didn't speak. Just watched her with amusement. I had been in a good mood today, completely ruined by her. It's probably been a while since I lost my temper, making her forget who she is, or maybe she thought that because the Bai family's young master is disabled, she could bully him at will. I was growing impatient. Shenu. What do you think you are? Shenu was stunned. She had never thought I would insult her like this, and for a moment she didn't know what to say. I continued to humiliate her, giving her no face. At all. Do you even understand your position, and you expect me to trust you after all the crap you've pulled? Your Should family has great upbringing. So annoying. I already have a bad temper, and naturally I wouldn't spare her any face now before. I still gave her some face. After all, she was my fiancé. I couldn't be too disrespectful, but now I've decided I don't want her anymore. I looked away from Shinu Wei and spoke indifferently to the assistant. Let's go to the greenhouse the plants need. Watering just as I was leaving, Shin Wei, drenched and disheveled, chased after me. San, are you jealous? You're just deliberately retaliating against me? That's why you're entangled with that girl. I investigated her. She's just a gold digger. A woman from some backwater village. Besides a pretty face, all she thinks about is climbing into men's beds before she could finish. The assistant interrupted her. Miss Shun, please watch your words. You have no right to interfere with the young master's actions. Shinu immediately stopped. She was very afraid of the assistant and didn't dare say another word. Just looked at me with hopeful eyes, wanting me to say something to her. The assistant is a veteran who has served my father for many years and holds a high position highly respected within the Bai family. Let alone a Shun Yue, even the head of the Shun family would be respectful towards him. It seems I've been too good to Shinu. She respects my butler but has lost all respect for me after entering the greenhouse. I watered the plants while speaking to the assistant. I remember the Shin family recently took on a few projects. Let waning practice. Let her decide how to handle them. You are only responsible for the safety of the funds. Set a performance target H. Let's say 3 small targets as a lesson. Yes, a loss of 300 million. The head of the Shin family would definitely know it was Shin Yue's fault. They would give me a satisfactory answer. It's better to let them discipline their own daughter. The Bai family doesn't meddle in other people's affairs. The assistant looked pleased. The young master has grown up. It seems Miss Sue is very important to you. I didn't confirm or deny it, even my eldest brother who is overseas called to praise me after he heard about it. That girl actually dared to treat you like that. She needs a good lesson. But little brother, why would you hurt your white moonlight for a little gold digger? Have you fallen for her after all? Once the By corporation makes a move, the Shin family will lose a lot of face. I chuckled lightly. Nothing big, brother. She just called launching a gold digger and said she wanted to climb into men's beds. As for waning, let her practice and see if she's qualified to enter the Bai family. My brother fell silent. He knew about Sue waning. He thought I was just playing around, but he didn't pay much attention to it. Well, I'll be back in a while. We'll talk. Then I didn't explain further. Chapter N. I bought Sue waning an apartment near the school. She only goes there when I call her, or occasionally if I work late, but she always asks for my permission beforehand. I found it a bit odd. I gave you the apartment. It's yours now. Why do you always ask Sue? Waning shook her head. It's your apartment, and I'm afraid I'll disturb you if you're there. It wouldn't be polite. I didn't bother correcting her. Her voice is pleasant and I like it, so I didn't press the issue. The apartment is cleaned daily, but practically, no one stays overnight apart from the obvious signs of use in the kitchen. The rest of the place is spotless. I once complimented Sue watching on her cooking, so she often cooks for me watching cook. I smiled, afraid I'd be bored waiting. Sue waning washed some fruit for me. It was sweet, perhaps enhanced by the beauty who served it. My good mood disrupted by Shonu returned Wanin. Come here. She wiped her hands and sat gently beside me. Are you hungry, young master? It'll be ready soon. I gently handed her a piece of the fruit she had cut. She instinctively took a bite. I could see a blush rise on her cheeks. Her eyes filled with a smile. Thank you, young master. She seemed completely unaware of how alluring she looked naturally. I wouldn't tell her. I simply claimed a kiss. As a thank you, when she went back to the kitchen, I enjoyed the fruit while admiring her figure. So sweet dinner was simple but delicious. I enjoyed it, young master. Could you give me an account number? Swanning asked cautiously. Meeting my curious gaze, she fidgeted. I earned some money for my internship and I want you to keep it for me. I pinch her cheek, amused. Do you think I need money? Sue waning obligingly filled a bowl of soup for me. No, it's just that I owe you so much. Already I don't want to burden you. She knew what to say. The slight annoyance I felt vanished instantly, soothed by her gentle tone. After a moment's thought, I gave her an account number. I'll let her manage it herself later. She started to learn about these things now, and with the Bai family overseeing it, nothing will go wrong. In any case, the little girl needs money. It wouldn't do for her to be tricked away by someone with a lollipop. Suwanin kissed me. Thank you, young master, I don't lack money, and I'm generous. Shinu used to hint at requests whenever she kept me happy, and I never hesitated to oblige. But Sue waning is different. She never asks for anything. She only accepts what I give, which pleases me. This is the gold digger Shun. Yue spoke of someone who wouldn't take advantage of countless opportunities to get rich. I even have to consider her future for her don't work anymore. There's no shortage of money. She nodded. I'll listen to you, young master. Ish should be getting a scholarship at the end of the year. Please keep that for me, too. I took a sip of soup and didn't object. I give her $200,000 a month for living expenses, which she never touches. I'll just manage and invest it all together after dinner. I gave Sue waning a card this time. It was an internal card for the Bai group. Many businesses under my family's name, except this card, the shopping mall opposite your school, and the hotel at the entrance, for example. Everything inside is free with this card. Girls often buy things, so this will be convenient. She was stunned. Young master? I can't remember when she stopped calling me Mr. Bai or CEO Bai and started calling me young master. Sue's waning voice was still soft. You're too good to me, it makes me. She thought for a moment before finally uttering a word. Overwhelmed, I smiled faintly. Isn't a gentle girl like Sue waning men to be pampered? She gently knelt down and Emma massage My legs, this used to be the doctor's responsibility, but she learned diligently. She knew never would, she only offered superficial concern. Young master, please don't be so good to me. I'm afraid I won't be able to adapt later. I gently stroked her hair. That won't happen. Young master will pamper you for a lifetime. I have the means to make the girl I cherish happy for life. Remember, you're mine. Chapter 10. When the Shin family came to apologize, I was strolling through Gaining University. My legs have recovered a lot since the accident, although I can't walk like a normal person yet. Basic movement isn't a problem, as long as I don't overdo it. This visit was a spur of the moment decision. Sue Waning had her final exams, and I wanted to see how she was doing. Of course, I also wanted to surprise her. I'd done the same for Shinu before, but instead of surprise, I only ever got awkwardness and strained silence. They are different. I couldn't help but imagine Sue watching's expression the more. I thought about it, the happier I became, a smile playing on my lips. I hadn't smiled much since the accident, but Sue Waning had brought more smiles to my face. Many students on the tree-lined paths of Jonin University looked at us curiously, a young man in a wheelchair accompanied by the head of the Shin family who was profusely apologizing, young master by. I've already punished you. Wei, are you satisfied? I nodded, not really in the mood to listen. She was just a woman. Let it go. Remember this. Lesson or next time it won't be so easy, then I waved them away. Sue Waning had handled the matter well, exceeding my expectations a whole 4 billion. The Shin family suffered heavy losses while the Bai family profited considerably as a reward bonus. Investment Group awarded Sue Waning a 5 million bonus. She didn't seem interested in it at all, and only accepted it after I had someone deposit it into her account. As for the Shin family, they had to put on a smiling face and offered gifts worth over 10 million as an apology, but right now I didn't want to be bothered by insignificant people while I looked for Swanning. My assistant pushed me as I strolled around young master. Do you want to rest for a while? I shook my head and asked a different question. Should the little girl continue her studies or start working after graduation? Give me your opinion. My assistant didn't call Sue Waning little girl like I did. He always called her Miss Sue, explaining that since she would eventually be mine, the title was appropriate. Miss Sue majored in finance, so further education would be better for her development. However, her path is ultimately for you to decide, young master. If you want to arrange a job for her, the Bai Group is a good fit. Everyone was very impressed with her performance in this recent matter. I thought about it and decided it was best for her to choose her own path. Yes, I'll ask her. Let her choose. My assistant seemed surprised, but quickly regained his composure. Let's go. It's almost time. Let's find her. Before we reached the teaching building, we saw a familiar figure running out. Young master, it's Miss Sue. I nodded. It seems she finished her exam early. Let's follow her and see where she's going. It was a little game of mine. My assistant naturally wouldn't object and push me. Closer Sue Waning went straight out of the school gate and towards a small alley. It seemed rather secluded. My assistant saw my confusion. There's a flower shop there, Miss Sue. Has been working part-time there after you told her not to work anymore? She started volunteering there. The flowers she sends you were her payment. A flower shop. All the flowers she gave me were earned through a part-time job at the flower shop. Before I could fully process this, I heard someone call her name Sue Waning. A woman not particularly beautiful came out of the alley, and the two walked inside, chatting and laughing. I watched Swan. She was happy. A gentle smile gracing her face. The warm sunlight bathed her profile, making her look beautiful. I froze. I knew she was always busy. I only asked her to send me flowers and plants so she wouldn't feel too pressured. How did she manage to get so many of them? I never questioned it before, but she never told me any of this. Did she think I wasn't worthy of a few more words? Or did she treat everyone the way she treated me? The thoughts sour my mood? Let's go. Don't let her see us. Chapter 11. Sir, your parents and your elder brother will all be back for your birthday banquet this year. I wanted to ask if you have any requests, my assistant asked cautiously on the way. As the most dude upon young master of the Bai family, my birthday banquet is always a grand affair after all. A significant number of business deals are initiated at the banquet every year, making it an event to be taken seriously, especially after my car accident. The rumors and gossip haven't stopped my parents and brother fearing I dwell on it, have made this year's banquet even bigger, just to show everyone that the Bai family's youngest son is still the most cherished. The Shin family never misses the event. If Shinu attends as my partner, it would signify the continuation of our engagement and that the past is water under the bridge. Everyone understands this, which is one reason why my assistant is asking. However, my engagement with Shinu was established during the darkest period of my life, initially considering the Shun family's understanding nature. I should have given them face, but I'm no longer interested in her. Well, Chu Weining is my partner. Everything else is up to you. My assistant hesitated. Sir, are you serious? Keeping a mistress like Sue? Weining isn't an issue. I can afford countless. Sue won kings, but her attending as my partner is a different matter entirely. It signifies SU, fall from grace, and permanently brands. Sue Weining as mine, from then on, she will have no chance of escaping by family. She'll be completely labeled a kept woman. I didn't speak. Just sat quietly in the greenhouse until light footsteps broke the silence. Sue, watching, saw me turn, her eyes full of smiles. Sir, I looked at the small succulent in her hand, fresh and vibrant, very cute. She carefully placed it in front of me, her voice cheerful. You said you liked it last time, sir. I nodded and ruffled her hair. Good, from now on, you can only be this gentle with me. She froze, seeing the displeasure in my eyes, and quickly agreed. But I pulled her into my arms and kissed her enticing red lips. Sue Weining body stiffened, although it wasn't our first kiss. This was the first time it had been so fierce. After a long while we parted. You, my birthday banquet is in a while be my partner? She fell silent, and I could clearly feel her heart racing. Sir, I'm not worthy of you. I'll embarrass you. I frowned, dissatisfied with her attitude. No, you won't. No one dares to say anything. I wanted to offer more comfort, but couldn't find the words. I think Sue Weining is wonderful, and shouldn't just be a canary. I want her to be recognized by those in our circle. I want her to stand beside me with dignity, but looking into her eyes, I only managed to say, you will never embarrass me. It took a long time for her to speak. Her head still lowered, her expression hidden. I'll do as you say, sir. I wasn't satisfied with this answer. Idled her head up. Are you unwilling? This action surprised even me. I never used to care about these things, but now I do care. About what she thinks. There was a hint of grievance in her eyes. She bit her lip, her expression helpless. I'll do whatever you say, sir. I've said it before, everything I have is yours. Chapter 12. This answer isn't what I wanted. I've been thinking about it for days and still can't understand. She promised me, so why am I not happy? Shinu called me, her voice laced with a hint of flattery, trying to sound gentle. San, I miss you, let's meet. I didn't refuse. I needed to vent, and she was a suitable target. I went straight to the address she gave me inside the cafe. Shin had lost a lot of weight, the exhaustion on her face impossible to hide. I glanced at her and looked away. She wasn't as pretty as Sue. Watching Shinu now realized her position was precarious. Her arrogance was gone, replaced by her previous subservience, even a hint of humility. She even tried to rekindle old memories. San, do you remember when we traveled in Northern Europe together that year? I shrugged. I don't remember. I've been all over the world with many people. Why should I remember one of the few trips she accompanied? Me on Shinu's expression stiffened, and then she started rambling about the past before I was treated like royalty. After all, the vast Bai family only had 2 sons, both with inheritance rights. But after my car accident, the outside world speculated that my inheritance rights would be revoked. After all, how could a prominent family choose as their heir? The struggle for inheritance in a powerful family isn't a gentle breeze. Its cruelty is comparable to the 9 dragons seizing the throne. Gradually, those in the circle began to subtly distance themselves from me. At that time, the only one willing to visit me and tolerate my bad temper with Shinu, her status in her family was low. The Shin family wasn't particularly powerful, but it had a large number of members with several older siblings above her. She was taking a gamble and she won. Although I hadn't fully recovered after 3 years, I still had everything a Bai family young master was entitled to. And my elder brother took good care of me. Our Bai family is different from others. Since childhood, I've been lazy and never thought about inheritance rights. Not only did my elder brother recognize this, but my parents did too. The outside world simply didn't know, even regarding marriage. Although I wouldn't choose someone unsuitable, I definitely wouldn't choose a wife from an overly powerful family. Causing trouble for my brother would be causing trouble for myself. It was better for someone with a simple mind like me to remain a carefree young master. By the time everyone else felt I still had investment value, the only one left by my side was Shinu. In the beginning, she treated me cautiously until she gained many benefits, which dramatically elevated her status. Within the Shin family, gradually perhaps, because I was, with only her around, she forgot where everything came from. I thought I loved her and I was very tolerant of her. I even got engaged to her last year. The Shin family was naturally satisfied. An insignificant daughter had won the favor of half the Bai family's heir. It was a good deal. Everyone envied her. Although it was just an engagement, it brought countless benefits. F to Shin. Wei, my elder brother, didn't want to treat me unfairly and would intentionally give some projects to the Shen family that wealth made her forget who she was. Now she probably remembered everything she had. She begged for bit by bit. I could give it, and naturally I could take it back. Cyan. I've been reflecting on myself recently. It must have been me neglecting you. If I had told you about nurturing new talent for the Shin family beforehand, we wouldn't have had these unpleasantries. I didn't speak, just took a sip of coffee. Sugar and milk. Sweet clawing. Terrible. Shinu continued talking to herself. We have so many years of feelings. It's just a misunderstanding. There's no need to make things so awkward. You know, I only love you. I didn't even lift my eyelids. Actually, your choice wasn't wrong. The nurturing game is quite fun. Realizing what I was saying, Shinu's face turned pale, but she quickly adjusted her emotions, though the jealousy and malice in her eyes were impossible. Hide. I didn't betray you, really. I'm sincere to you. Besides, look at Su Waning. How good you are to her. But what about her? What did she do behind your back? This was her purpose, wasn't it? Following her pointed finger, I turned my head. Yes, it was someone I knew. Standing outside the cafe, Su Waning was talking with Zia Shong. I couldn't read lips, so I didn't know what they were talking about. Only Saya Shong suddenly reached out and hugged Su Wanin. San, did you see that they're meeting secretly? He's betraying you. Of course, I'm not interfering with your decision. If you want to keep a woman, I have no objection. I won't be jealous. Shinu's voice was full of eagerness and humility. I just smiled, actually. I wanted to curse at her, but I thought too vulgar in the end. I just coldly spat out one word. Get out, Chapter 13. I needed to vent. Su Waning had been texting me for days, and I hadn't replied until today. Come here, my words reflected my inner turmoil. I knew Su Waning didn't actually like Xiao Shong, though they grew up together. They were merely neighbors and friends. Not childhood sweethearts. Today's incident was nothing romantic. After Zia Shong hugged her, she immediately pushed him away. It was a reflexive reaction. The whole thing was insignificant, completely different from Shinu's sponsorship disguised. His aid. Someone like Xiao Shong wasn't worth my attention. As for Xiwei, she was completely out of the question. She couldn't even control her scheming before becoming the Bai family's young mistress. What would she be like later? Wouldn't she turn the world upside down? I'd never asked Su Waning about her, and Xiao Shan, my assistant, had investigated everything thoroughly, but today I was simply unhappy. I was angry that Shinu tried to manipulate me. Regardless, Sue Waning was part of the scheme, and she would bear the consequences. So when Sue Waning entered, my displeasure was written all over my face. She looked bewildered. "Young master, what's wrong?" Ignoring her hesitation, I threw her onto the bed. Only after I was done did I realize she was a virgin. Despite her discomfort, she gently draped my clothes over me. "Is young master in a bad mood today?" I didn't speak. She frowned slightly gently, massaging my shoulders. "If something's bothering you, young master, you can tell me, don't keep it bottled up inside. It's not good for you." I looked at her coldly. "I saw you meet with Zian today." Her face registered shock. Then she resumed her gentle demeanor. "I'm sorry." Seeing her offer no explanation infuriated me further. "Since you've apologized, tell me, what did you do wrong?" I genuinely wanted to hear what she would say. She maintained her gentle composure. "I should have informed you beforehand. Sia-shan contacted me today. He said he had something to tell me. So I went." He explained later that it was the person sponsoring him who made the request, saying, "It would be best if something happened between us." I refused. "I belong only to young master." "I'm sorry, young master." I question her. "Do you feel wrong in the future? You must inform me before meeting him also. I invited you to be my companion at my birthday banquet. Why were you reluctant?" Sue Waning lowered her head, seemingly wanting to speak, but holding back. I scoffed. "What, haven't I been good enough to you?" She finally looked up, meeting my gaze directly. "Young master, I'm just a simple woman. I don't want to be involved in the power struggles of the wealthy, nor am I capable of it. I'm sorry if I attend your birthday banquet as your companion. What would my status be? A kept woman? Your fiancé will be there. What am I supposed to do?" I wanted to comfort her, but she didn't give me the chance, stopping my hand mid-air as I reached out to caress her. Sue Waning laughed, a desolate sound. I didn't say anything. "Because you already know everything. You know every move I make, just like Xiaoshang's existence you knew from the beginning, but you never asked your fiancé is the one sponsoring him. What would be the point of me saying anything? Would you break off the engagement or marry me? I'm just your canary to be discarded when you're tired of me. Countless women want to marry you. Arises are yours for the picking, and me. I'm already despicable enough staying by your side, knowing you're engaged. Do you want me to be ridiculed for the rest of my life?" "Young master, please leave me some dignity." I was stunned, caught off guard by her sudden outburst. "You know about Shinu?" I admitted she had a point. I did have her under surveillance. Sue Waning's voice was firm, clearly. Still angry, yes. "I also know you chose me precisely because she's sponsoring Xiaoshang, and Xiaoshang and I are neighbors. You did it on purpose." I embraced her, whispering comfort. "Be good. Don't be angry. I never said I didn't want you. I won't put you in a difficult position again." She looked up at me, her voice tinged with anger. "By see? And we're in a kept relationship. I'm just your canary. Don't completely humiliate me, okay?" I paused, my heart aching. As I looked into her eyes, gently holding her, I kissed her. "Don't worry. You'll always be mine regarding Shinu. I'll break off the engagement. It has nothing to do with you. I haven't broken it off yet because my parents are abroad, and I need their consent." I offered a gentle explanation. "I didn't actually have anyone watching you. I did read your file initially, but today's incident was Shunyua scheme. The atmosphere was strange. I wouldn't normally explain myself this much, not even to Shinu. But with Sue Waning, I found myself explaining, offering her unprecedented patience. I didn't choose you to get revenge on Shinu. I chose you because you're beautiful and have a good personality. And like I said, whether you're a canary or something else depends on your abilities. You did a good job last time. Keep up the good work. Waning, I've fallen for you." Sue Waning looked at me seemingly in disbelief, but her eyes regained their sparkle. She leaned in and kissed me. Chapter 14, the day my parents and older brother returned. My assistant wheeled me to the airport to pick them up. They were curious about Sue Waning. As for Shinu, their stance was clear. I should handle it myself. This was the Bai family's way of raising an heir, give you the backing and see what you do with it. I briefly explained recent events, then calmly stated, I'm breaking off the engagement with Shinu. I'll announce it on my birthday. Banquet. They nodded, even though they were abroad. They were well informed. The Shin. Family matter is yours to decide, however they were more interested in Su Waning in all these years. Besides, Sha Su Waning was the second woman by my side. Bring Su watching over for us to meet. Whether she's qualified to be your partner isn't up to you. I nodded. I wasn't worried about this. I was confident they would be satisfied, however there was something I had to ask. Something I found strange when I was engaged to Shin. Well, you didn't seem to care why the interest in Su waning this time. My brother laughed. It's different. We never thought highly of Shin Yu Wei from the start and never believed you'd end up together. She's too calculating, but we've never met Su waning and you've fallen for her. I touched my nose awkwardly. Was it that obvious? My mother gently stroked my head. We can all see that you like her, which means you're likely to fall deeply and not be able to get out. We have to make sure she won't hurt you that evening. Swanning appeared at our family villa. I barely managed to introduce her before I was sent away. I don't know what happened, but the outcome was very satisfactory. My mother even personally ordered a custom-made gown for her to W to the birthday banquet. I pestered everyone about the conversation, but they all just smiled, including Su. Waning fine. Keep it a secret. Young master, do you really like me? What do you think? Anyway, I like you. As long as you don't dislike me. I'll always be here soon. We kissed, Chapter 15. The birthday banquet was approaching, and Shinu blocked my way. San, you invited me. You've forgiven me, right? I knew you couldn't bear to leave me. I completely stopped fuming Xia Shong from now on. I'll ask for your opinion before making any decisions. Okay? I chuckled a few times and stretched. Lazily, Shinu. I thought you had learned your lesson. Tears welled up in her eyes as she pleaded. I really know I was wrong. Xiaoshong did try to seduce me, but I swear I wasn't swayed. Nothing happened between us. San, you have to believe me. I'm still... Clean her demeanor was a far cry from the haughty Miss Shaw of the past. I believe you, but the look I gave her was a little strange. Some things you see aren't only known by the people involved, and it's not just what happens that counts, Shinu Sum. Things, no matter how hard you try, will never belong to you. Shinu clearly understood, but not entirely. She thought I was just jealous, and breathed the sigh of relief, continuing to play the emotional card. And I've always loved you. It's just that people always said I had everything because of you, so I neglected you a little. I just wanted to stand proudly beside you now. I don't care about that anymore. As long as you're still by my side, it doesn't matter what others think. I yawned. Ready to end the conversation? They weren't wrong. Everything you have, isn't it all for me? Even the entire Shin family is because of me. Shinu's expression stiffened slightly, but having been taught a lesson, she maintained some decorum. I know I'll definitely work hard in the future, and I won't let anyone look down on you. I remained silent. Who would dare look down on me seeing my continued silence? She cautiously asked the question she cared about most. Will I be your date? Then I don't even mind anymore. I was being unreasonable before she put on a pitiful act. I couldn't be bothered to respond with this kind of person. Words were useless. Simply put, they didn't cherish what they had until they lost it on the way home. I looked at my assistant and said the Shin family can't even control their own people. It seems waning needs more practice. People in the circle probably guessed I intended to break off the engagement, but without that layer of pretense being ripped away, no one wanted to make things too awkward. The Shin family clearly didn't want it, but they didn't dare to question me directly, so they could only leak my whereabouts to Shinu. Wei's success belonged to the Shun family, failure belonged to Shinu. A clever little scheme. It just so happens that the Bai family's threshold is quite high, and it won't be easy for the little girl to marry in. It's not bad to have someone eager to offer themselves up. Chapter 16. This year's birthday banquet was a grand affair. Everyone attached great importance to it, as it was the official announcement of the Bai family's young master's return to the family business, aside from Shun Yu's momentary loss of composure when I descended the stairs hand in and, with Sue waning the event, proceeded. Smoothly, after 3 years of rehabilitation, my leg is mostly recovered as long as I avoid strenuous activity. I can now stand and walk for extended periods today, marking my return to the public eye. I decided to stand throughout the entire event gently, adjusting Sue's waning dress. I affectionately ruffled her hair. "You look beautiful today." Her eyes crinkled with a sweet smile. She had completely transformed from a naive girl into almost a wealthy A's. Blushing, she shyly kissed me. I belonged to young master always. The proceedings went smoothly, and Sue waning handled herself gracefully. After all, etiquette is established by the upper class, and the Bai family happens to be among those who set the rules regarding the engagement with the Shin family. I simply made a brief announcement, which caused no surprise. This circle is pragmatic. Everyone had already guessed. The only one who couldn't accept it was Shinu. Breaking free from her family's grasp, she rushed towards me. "Why, I'm the one who loves you the most. I'm your fiancé. What? Am I lacking? Compared to her, she's just a poor girl, unworthy of you." Security quickly pulled her away. "San, you love me. You were just joking, right?" I remained silent, preparing to leave. She wasn't worth my time or words, seeing me turn away. Shinu suddenly knelt down. "I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I neglected your feelings. Please forgive me." I watched her theatrical performance like an outsider. However, letting this continue wouldn't do. It wasn't just the Shin family's face that was being lost, but also the B families. I turned to my assistant. "Get her out of here. We won't be working with the Shin family anymore." Upon hearing this, the Shin family panicked and tried to plead with me. My older brother stepped forward, looking at them calmly. My younger brother's words represent the Bai family's decision. At this, they finally gave up. The Shin family's failure to raise their daughter properly after repeated lessons meant they needed a lesson they would remember for a lifetime. Chapter 17. "Little brother, that Sue waning is not bad. Are you sure you want to marry her?" My older brothers at in his study, looking at me seriously. I nodded. "Big brother, at first, I just wanted to play around, but now I really like her." I was still a little apprehensive. The Bai family social standing was too high. My older brother remained silent and only spoke after a long while. "All right, I'll give you 3 years. You can use the Bai family's resources as you please. As for whether Sue Wanan can marry into our family, that depends on her abilities. We had a tacit understanding. Neither of us mentioned how it was to be done. The Shun family, since they were courting death, they could be Sue Waning's stepping stone 1 year, just 1 year, and Sue Waning leading the Bai fame's team completely crushed. The Shin family, not only did the Bai family profit greatly, but the Shin family also completely changed its name to Sue. Now Sue Waning was worth over 100 million. And qualified to marry into the Bai family. My parents and older brother were very satisfied with her 2 months after Sue Waning completely took over the Bai family business. I proposed to her over the past few years. Our relationship had become more than just a kept woman and her benefactor. On the day of the proposal, I knelt on one knee and took out the ring I had prepared long ago. "Waning, marry me." The young woman blushed and happily extended her slender finger. A long time later, the young woman had grown into a powerful business tycoon. But the way she looked at me was still as pure as it was when she was 18. "San, why did you choose me back then?" I looked tenderly at her pregnant belly and murmured softly, "Silly girl, it's true that I found you beautiful. It's true that I wanted despite Shin Yuan, and it's also true that I fell in love with you for the rest of our lives. Let's walk together." Chapter 18. When I saw Shinu again, she was completely destitute after Sue Waning bankrupted the Shin family. The Bai Family showed a sliver of mercy, sparing their lives. Though their fortune was gone, they blamed everything on Xinu and drove her out. Xiaoshong also broke up with her. Their relationship had been transactional, and without money, he quickly found a new sponsor with nowhere to go, Xinu Wei, relying on her former status as the Shun family's eldest daughter, and her beautiful appearance drifted between various cocktail parties, utterly reduced to a social butterfly.